Today we're going to talk about herbs. These aren't in any particular order or, you know, preference or anything like that. But these are herbs that I have a tough time killing in the San Francisco climate. I try to kill plants all the time, but these guys, they're contenders. They're heavyweight champions. So the first herb that grows really well here is chives. Any of the onion family seems to grow really well here. I have not had any luck getting an onion to bulb up. Last year was the first year I grew them. Shallots did really well, but technically that's not an onion. I'm growing a lot of shallots this year and plan on using them as onions because I know I can grow them extremely well. But the chives, they're good in all, you know, they obviously go good on potato. They go good with lemon, like lemon chive dressing. You can put little batons of chive in a salad. I love to coat leg of lamb with all kinds of herbs, one of which would be chive. And then I sear it in the pan and then I finish it in the oven. Get like a herb crusted lamb shank or lamb leg. And chive is a big part of that. Chive oil, you can take the chive, blanch it, cool it down, stick it in the blender with some oil. To the pesto restaurant Danielle style, same technique, but after you blend it with the oil, I don't add anything to it. I just blend the chive with the oil. You hang it in a cheesecloth in a refrigerator with a bowl underneath, and it starts dripping out slowly, and that is some real flavorful oil. Maybe I'll do a chive oil video. So chives grow really great, and they love the San Francisco climate. One of the best herbs we grow out here, in my opinion, is chives. We've had these chives for over 2 years. As you can see, it's getting pretty crowded. Once in a while, we'll break it apart and put a cluster of chive, and we get rid of about half of them because it's just too much. You see it's flowering. Thyme. I've had 2 batches of thyme on the deck. I grow them in these hanging over the edge of the railing of the deck, the potters, planters. So I had some thyme, and you know, they say don't let your herbs flower because it makes them hard and bitter and they're not as good. But I mean, I'd had it for 2 or 3 years up here on the deck. And here again with my accident and the leg surgery, sometimes these plants go, I mean, it could go a couple weeks without water just because I can't move. And Liani's busy taking care of me. So, the thyme had been seeing some ups and downs. I ripped it out. We did a new batch of thyme. And the old thyme is downstairs in the shade garden. So you keep this thing, somewhat watered. And I don't care if it flowers anymore. The bees like it. It's a pollinator attractant. I just let it flower and then cut the flowers off later. And keep the plant, we use it a lot. So we're cutting it all the time. So new branches are constantly coming out. Here again, thyme works great with like that leg of lamb, herb crusted anything. Put some thyme in it. I use it a lot. I make a thyme lemon sauce. For Valentine's Day or anniversary, Liani, one of the first things I cooked for her was a whitefish with a lemon thyme caper sauce. She loved it. Definitely a get you laid sauce. I do thyme and a lot of my meat sauces, especially for background flavor. If I'm doing a demi-glaze sauce, throw a sprig or 2 of thyme in there. Possibly put it at the end as well. But definitely anytime I make a sauce, it pretty much stock like your little bouquet garni. I always throw some thyme in there, background flavor. It's not really gonna become prominent that early in the game. So you can put it in and not have all of your stuff taste like thyme. Oregano. It's a trooper. It does well no matter what. Same situation as the thyme where I had it growing on the edge of the deck. And when I first started, maybe you've seen some of my videos, I oversow a lot. So, of course, I plant too many plants in these over-the-edge planters. and I had 4 oregano plants in about a 3-foot space. And I mean, they creep and they crawl, and it just, you know, overtook the whole basket. So here again, I took it downstairs. I took a saw, I cut it into chunks, and then I put little chunks all around the yard to see where it's going to grow the best. And this time I took 2 sprigs out of that one. There was 2 types of oregano in it. I took about 8 sprigs out of the one I liked. I just peeled off the bottom leaves and then stuffed it in the dirt, the stem, and it's doing really well. And whatever's downstairs is doing well. Oregano, another really hard one to kill. This is my quote-unquote new oregano, and I took it from what's downstairs. One, I felt it was just too much for this size of, you know, pot or growing little bed or whatever. So I ripped out some pieces and just stuck it in here. Now if you look, like, see this? That was a big stem, and I just bent it over, crammed my finger in it, crammed it in the dirt, and then that's gonna grow it from there. Here I did, well, I had done the same thing somewhere. Oh, right here. Did the same thing here. That is just part of this. It was one of these big ones sticking up, so I just put it over. This one I actually picked the leaves off. They blew off overnight. But I'll probably do that on a couple more and get it to just grow out all over this bed. I like the oregano. Great in salads, great in salad dressing. Anything tomato sauce. Obviously you need oregano. It's pretty versatile. I'd put it on meat. I'd put it on fish. My one buddy says, you know, it is a little overpowering. I can't use oregano, it's too strong. Well, use less, because you do need more oregano in your life. In San Francisco, obviously rosemary. I can walk down Irving Street over here. Yeah, I can walk down Irving Street over here. And there's just, it grows wild in people's yards. One of my buddies, I was like, oh, I'm gonna grow rosemary. He goes, I'm not gonna waste my time growing rosemary. I can go to the bank, I can go to CVS. There's rosemary everywhere in the neighborhood. So, but I like to grow it, and I'm particular, you know, I didn't realize this until I started growing it, but there are certain rosemaries that are better for cooking, in my opinion. So we have a lot of rosemary around here. I only found one so far that I really like cooking with, and we have it growing downstairs and up on the deck. So rosemary is very versatile in the San Francisco climate. I mean, just look at how long these leaves are. I mean, if you're a chef and you got to chop rosemary and pick rosemary, I mean, for one pick, you know, that's a good deal right there. And they're all nice and tender on the ends. Dill. I use a lot of dill because I grow a lot of vegetables and I pickle everything. Pickling to me is the easiest way to preserve it, where it tastes good and I'll eat it. So I like a lot of dill in there. Now, if I try and grow dill here on the deck, it's gonna go and bolt like immediately because it's too much sun beating down. So I moved it down into what I call my shade garden. And when it's in there, I have a shade cloth over the top, and the dill, I mean, it just thrives, it loves it. It took me half of the season last year to realize I needed shade cloth in San Francisco. But the dill goes great. I have another shade garden under the deck so that whenever I water, all the water from here runs down and waters that other garden as well. Dill loves it there. Last year, it started shooting up, and then it just got decimated by caterpillars. So this year I put up a little bug net, and I did the backside with shade cloth. We're trying to keep the butterflies out of there. It's this little white butterfly, and man, they just kill you. So dill does really well. It looks pretty. I let a lot of it flower. I replanted the seeds that I had from last year. I mean, it just loves this weather. So this was overwintered. It's not the best shot, but it's in the greenhouse, and this dill is thriving for sure. This is the one that we use right now. If I want dill, I come down and take it off of here. And we've had dill pretty much all season, perpetual dill. Well, not perpetual, because I use a lot of it at the end of the season when we do a lot of pickling, so the dill disappears. But this is our dill that is actually in the greenhouse. I'm going to put cilantro and parsley in the same category. They're of the same family. They grow similar. The seeds look alike. Here again, that has to go in the shade garden. If I put cilantro up here, I mean, it just immediately goes to bolt. So I have a couple little, you know, chintzy pieces of shade cloth around the deck. Sometimes I put it on green stalk if I need to, but cilantro is definitely in the shade garden, and both of them as well. It grows really well here. It's prolific. Same thing with the parsley. Now, I only grow the flat leaf parsley. So the flat leaf parsley does really well here. The curly leaf, I don't really like parsley, but I like to have it around, and there's certain times when I do want parsley. So we grow it, and it looks pretty, and it does really well here. It loves the weather as well. I would also suggest, I haven't had that one bolt on me real quick because I don't grow a lot of it, and since I figured out that the cilantro needs shade, I'm not even chancing it with the parsley. It's always been in the shade, and it does well, so I don't need to move. An honorable mention here. It hasn't grown as well as these others, but it's probably, you know, it's on me. Obviously, it's not the herb. The herb loves it. Right here we got, actually, that's sage. This is our regular sage plant. Leaves aren't huge, but man, they're pungent. I love the way sage smells. I love the sage. So up here, so sage does go dormant. It took me 2 years to figure that out. So during the winter months here, it almost, you know, it starts looking like shit, and I'm like freaking out. But then one time I realized, I don't know if you can still see them, and this thing has flowers now. I think this pot is too small, but sage, you know, it's growing, it's loving life. So downstairs we have the golden sage. It's in a much bigger pot. It's growing great. It hasn't flowered yet, but we bought it just last fall. Here's our downstairs sage. This is golden sage. I don't think, it's not growing as well as the one up there, but who knows. This was 2 plants. And sage hibernates, or goes into dormancy. So it's coming out and looking good. It goes into dormancy. So anyway, sage does well. At first it doesn't do as well as these other ones, I don't feel. But maybe that's just because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But sage does well. So I grew tarragon. I had it in the shade garden. It's a very whimsical plant. Like, the leaves are very thin, and it's just kind of like, you know, a flag blowing in the wind. It's not like chive, you know, where it's up and erect and like dun 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 dun. No, it's all like, ugh, it's like a junk plant. I grew it, it was doing well, and then I hit a surgery or something, and I didn't water it like it needs. I think it needs a lot of water. It doesn't have a lot of substantial, you know, stems and leaves to like hold water. So if it goes dry, it pretty much dies quick. I felt it's annual, I believe. I think that it's going to die off. That it's slow. They told me, you know, it's going to die off every winter anyway. So now I got to go and buy it, and I'm growing some fennel, trying to. Let's hope that works. So if I need to, but I mean that béarnaise sauce. You have to have tarragon, or it don't taste right. It's not béarnaise. So we'll see. I might grow some more tarragon, but it definitely grows here, and it, you know, it thrives.